I'd like to go through a common problem with data processing with the LEMS software. It also applies to the IAP meter, but these are the specifics for the LEMS software. So we're looking at a graph and all the data has been entered in the ISO tab, and it's hard to tell where the problem is. Everything looks good. But this graph shows it's upside down. The PM graph is upside down. You can't see any of the CO. And when we go to results, here's the upside down PM graph. You can't see CO or CO2. The CO is negative. The PM is still positive. The CO is negative. And then when we go down to any of the CO2 metrics, they're negative. So the problem is because the background wasn't measured. And so we have some blue dots, and I'll show you this, how to make this text bigger. So we have the background is a green dot, and the blue dot is the stove test, and the red dot is another part of the stove test. So the background emission, the space between these two green dots, is supposed to be on a flat period. And we can't see the CO and the CO2, but right now with the PM, we can see there's no flat period. There was no background measurement taken. We can zoom out and see the CO, and we'll see that also for CO there was no background measurement taken. So this green dot is supposed to be on a flat period, and it wasn't taken. So normally what I would do is change these times so that they go on a flat period. But since there's no flat period, we can't change these times. We can change the time, but it doesn't solve the problem. So the way to solve the problem and recover this data is to go here to logger data, and then this is the one that will control the background. So we can take a minimum value, and one way to do that is just to scroll through and look for a minimum value. It's about 35, 24. So we can put 24 in there. And now when we look at the CO graph, it's all positive. This isn't perfect, but it allows you to recover the data, and now we have positive CO readings. We can do the same thing for CO2. Here's the spot right above CO2, right before CO2 zeroed, and we look for the minimum value. That's about 889. Oh, down there's 538. Let's try that one. You can also use the minimum function, min, will work for that. But now the CO2 graph is there. So this is one way to do it. Now we have positive CO2 readings and positive CO readings. The PM, we can do the same thing. Right now we have the PM measurement wasn't affected by this error because the filters were properly collected and the data is there for the filters. But if we're looking for the relationship between light scattering and gravimetric, which we see down in the quality control section, there's a negative value there, and that's supposed to be positive. So we have this mass scattering cross section, which is like a calibration factor between light scattering and gravimetric. It's negative, so to get a measurement on that, we need to change this one. So set that to the minimum 798, should work. And that'll allow you to recover the data. Now that graph is where it's supposed to be. That looks really good. I wouldn't worry about changing that. Now we have reasonable numbers for the mass scattering cross section. Thank you.